Alrighty, I'm Beck Lane. This is Studio 120. I am one of the great unwashed still, but that's just how it goes. Uh, anyway, I've got a little list because I made a couple of boo-boos the last 24 hours and something really nice happened. So I want to remember to share it all with you. By accident, I deleted video number 497. I was cleaning out my iPad and I saw error uploading video 497, deleted it, deleted everything in my different files so that I would hold room in my beautiful little iPad that people on Patreon are helping me to keep going. And so I was deleting out the files and deleted 497. You're welcome. Apparently it was a video that a number of people really liked because I've gotten messages and a couple of emails about it. And again, you're welcome. I'm really sorry. So we're just going to go over the artwork and maybe a couple of topics that were in it. Mainly it was about the depression that I go through and it happens every March, blah, blah, blah. Overwhelming anxiety. I get frozen and paralyzed with depression and I end up staring at the wall and there's nothing I can do. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, that's that part of it. Again, I'm sorry to people who connected with that and I just removed it. And a lot of people, or a number of people shared it too. So, yay. Okay, we're gonna go over to the artwork that was covered in video 497. Yay! But I wanted to clear up, I wanted to mention a couple of things. In the last video in 498, which I haven't deleted yet, I talked about doing portrait pairing, where I'm pairing me and an artist who I have admired and looked to for guidance pretty much my whole life, or different artists. And the first one is Alice Neel. We were talking about Alice Neel. The next one will be Toulouse-Lautrec, and I'm happy to say I talked to my neighbor who has a saw, and we're going to be cutting some scrap wood that I have to fit a frame, or not a frame, but a stretcher. I'm going to attach the wood to a stretcher, and then I can start, or a stretcher, so I can start 2-panel portrait of Toulouse-Lautrec and then me. And then after that, I've already known who I wanted to paint after that. The painter, hello head, the painter Leonard Maiden, who I deeply admire, out of Mississippi. He has been gracious enough to help me understand portraiture a little bit more. I love the depth of his paintings. He illustrates historically deeply offensive or historically racist images of African Americans eating watermelon and cotton, but it's just part of a history. It's a part of his history, part of his genealogy and his DNA. And so I just adore sorry, I'm not putting this well, not showered, just woke up. I deeply admire, respect, and appreciate being able to not only learn from him through communications, but also through his distinctive painting style, and his content. It's so complex looking at it from a white person's perspective. At first it made me uncomfortable, and if it makes me uncomfortable, then I want to take a deeper look as to why. There's just a lot there. Leonard Maiden, but he has been very generous with his time with me and helping me to understand little things, and I'll show you how to accentuate the nose without making the nose the focal point of the face. Because I really didn't understand how to do it. I'd seen it, but he explained it to me. Anyway, he's been great, and I really love his work. So portrait pairing number 3 will be Leonard Maiden and me. I have a very specific, very specific idea for my end of the portrait, and I cannot wait to get that one underway and be able to share it. But till then, it's a secret. All right, so we talked about Alice Neel in the last video, and at one point I was saying that Alice Neel, I said something like when she died, and then I veered off from what I was going to say. When Alice Neel died, the great portrait artist Alice Neel died, who had now been showing with, of course, Andy Warhol and a bunch of other famous male artists, had been painting all these people in Spanish Harlem and her neighbors and by then celebrities, and been showing in some major venues. When she died, there were 300 paintings that went unsold that were in her apartment. 300 opportunities for people to invest in the artist that was transforming portraiture. 300. 300. It boggles, it absolutely effing boggles the mind. We can look back in the rearview mirror and think, well, that was stupid, which is exactly what I'm thinking, and what a waste is mainly how I feel. What a waste, instead of investing in this artist. Because she was older, because she was female, because they didn't have, because at the time, her being female artist, they couldn't see the actual visionary and transformative properties of her work. The same with Van Gogh. The same with Van Gogh. People were so myopic and stupid at and unable to see beyond the end of their nose. He only sold one painting or one piece in his life, and that we know of, and it was actually to an art critic friend of his who just became enamored with his work. This one man at the end of Van Gogh's life said, "I see it." He was a little obsessive with Van Gogh too. He was kind of a stalker, just a tad, and thank God Van Gogh didn't live with social media. But anyway, how many times have we heard this story? After the fact. So I'm saying this, if you see someone's work that you really appreciate, you really connect with, invest in that artist now while you have the opportunity to say, I was there. That's what I'm saying. Especially artists who are transforming, taking medium and transforming it. Right now we're watching NFTs explode. And so people who have literally sat down for a few hours in an afternoon and put a graphic piece together are making millions. And there we are. So NFTs can suck it, and we're going to move on. So she had 300 paintings that went unsold when she died. Now they're worth how much? All right, we're going to take the guilt trip and put it to the side. Neighbor is helping me cut the wood for the Lautrec painting. Next painting is going to be Leonard Maiden. And then one really lovely thing happened yesterday. Actually, over the past few days, I follow Pulitzer Prize winning art critic Jerry Saltz on Twitter. And periodically, I'll comment on something, and we'll kind of go back and forth a tiny bit. He doesn't engage with a lot of people, but we'll go back and forth a little bit. And he was commenting on, he's been really focused on NFTs lately, which is kind of, to me, they're the Atari of the art world, the new Jeff Koons. and I find it really discouraging because I feel like the NFTs, non-fungible tokens, they're not even something that you can own. You own, when you buy an NFT piece of artwork, you're actually buying that image, and you have the sole ability to view that image. Yay! Yay! Wee! So there is actually an artist there's an artist who has apparently made millions over the past few months, since last fall, on his NFTs, and so people like with Jeff Koons are going, oh my god, it's pretty and shiny, and they're leaping on it. And that kind of thing started in the 80s with Jeff Koons, and this is just the new version. It kind of, okay, whatever. I don't like Jeff Koons either. But anyway, Pulitzer Prize winning art critic Jerry Saltz, we've been going back and forth about NFTs, and he actually went into my Twitter account and retrieved an image or a couple of images and liked them, and then he retweeted one of them, which, you know, it's not getting a ton of traction or anything, but to me it's like, oh, okay, you're not just looking at me as this weird Twitter person. You actually saw my artwork and saw some value in it and decided to share it. So I'm feeling pretty good about it. And then I had some douchebag come on, and I'd been talking about, we were talking about NFTs, but Jerry Saltz was particularly addressing the lack of women in the NFT art market. And it's like, and my reaction was, and this is a surprise? Everything is male dominated. This is patriarchy. Everything is patriarchy. But, you know, you can always go into the Twitter and see the little back and forth. But this douchebag, jackass, kind of started taunting me a little bit and insulting me, and started insulting my artwork. And I don't usually care, but I was trying to come back in a witty way. And eventually it escalated to, he was just kind of telling me my artwork isn't, you know, if I painted better, people might, more people would talk about my artwork, that it has nothing to do with gender. Okay. Yeah, and it has nothing to do with the fact that I'm not posing in a bikini while I paint, which nobody, not even including me, wants to see. Nobody wants to see that. So, but anyway, I went back and forth. Jerry Saltz ended up, he tweeted that he asked this guy to please remove himself from Jerry Saltz's account and block Jerry Saltz. And the guy didn't, so Jerry went ahead and blocked him. And you know what? I woke up this morning to that, and it made me feel like $1 million. Here's a guy who is like a major art critic, not only in New York, but a major art critic around the world. He has influence. He has a lot of power. He's written books. He calls himself a failed painter. And whether he saw me because I was belligerent and ballsy and kind of, I got nothing to lose, I'm just going to say it the way it is. You know, since I joined his account or started following him, he's recognized me and he retweeted my stuff. I mean, I don't know if anything will ever come from it because the world is now focused on NFTs, but it's okay. It validated me. It validated me for a day, and it gave me energy. And then he also kind of came to my defense just a tiny bit, because this guy was like, well, you know, basically you're not very good. So I went, oh, okay, douchebag. And I started posting, I was replying saying, you know, replying with images of my work. And I said in the last one, it is unfortunate I'm not good at what I do, or I'm not very good. And I think that's what led Jerry Saltz to go, okay, fight's over, kids. Whatever your name is, jackass, you're out of here. What'd the guy tell me? He told me to, I remember, because women in the arts, blah, blah, blah. Jerry Saltz said to me, I said, what have you done for women lately, women artists lately? You are a powerful man in the art world. Yes, I said this. You are a powerful man. You're a powerful man. You can make or break careers. Make or break. How many women have you featured in your online sites? So he wrote me back, and he said, it was kind of smarmy, but I let it go a little bit. He said, check the past 100 to 200 posts on my Instagram account. I went, okay. So I went through and I tallied. And because of the way I was keeping everything organized, I went through 221 of his Instagram posts. I think 120 of them, I don't have it in front of me, but I think like 120, 130 of them were just miscellaneous and about, you know, walking in the woods and museums and NFTs and then personal stuff. 54 of them were about male artists, living and dead. 43 of them, I think, were about female artists. So it's not that much of a discrepancy, but it's still a discrepancy. I also didn't see that many Black, African-American artists listed or featured. I mean, there were a lot of discrepancies. So I don't think it's conscious, but I think in our argument, or not in our argument, but I think in my comments, I may have touched a vein. Because there were only a few pointedly African-American artists. There were I don't think there were any Asian African-American artists. There were a couple of South American artists, I believe. I can't remember all the little details now, but I think I struck a chord. And so whether he retweeted my work out of placation or not, I don't really care. Jerry Saltz retweeted me. So now we're going to get to the gist, because this has been far too long. This has been 17 minutes of me yammering on. We're going to cover the paintings that were used in the video that I deleted. This is Yolandi Fisher. You saw me working on her a bunch of times. Yolandi Fisher was my drag queen friend and gender fluid friend out of Providence, Rhode Island, who passed away. She is finished. The finishing touches, or the finishing finishing content in the painting, was writing faggot in the background. Faggot in the background, using this olive to gold oil pastel within and on top of the red oils. As I've talked about before, Yolandi had a dress, a very famous dress called the faggot dress. The faggot dress, and it's not a word that I'm comfortable with, but it is Yolandi's word. It is Yolandi's confrontation and challenge to the world. So the faggot dress is in a bar in Providence, Rhode Island. It has been framed. Everybody knows it. I saw somewhere on Instagram where someone had taken a Barbie doll and redressed it into a faggot dress, but also had reshaped the face and painted the doll to be Yolandi, and then has taken pictures of it. And I just think it's such a wonderful tribute to a wonderful, powerful, brave human being. So that was Yolandi. And what I'm getting to is I wanted to show you kind of progressions in the artwork, and also stuff that I've actually finished, because I haven't been posting a lot. From Yolandi, I went back to my married couple, and the married couple is sitting over there, the husband and wife team, the 2-panel piece sitting over there, and I'm waiting to clear up a couple of issues in my head that I'm having with it, and I'm clearing up the issues in my head by doing other pieces. I'd been working on the secret painting, the secret commission painting that's going to be a surprise for someone that I can't show you, but working through the wedding couple, and then going ahead and working on a few other paintings helped me to work through other issues in the secret painting. It's a continuum. I'm not one of those people that can sit in front of one canvas and go, oh yes, time for a nap. You know, I can't put down a couple of brush strokes on one painting and that's it. I have to keep my mind refreshing. So I like having up to 10, 11 paintings at once, or canvases at once going. And it's the same thing with doing okay, not him, but a lot of things in 2 panels. It's because I have to think differently and I have to constantly refresh and see things from a different angle. All right, we're going to contradict ourselves and go to this guy. This one I just finished up a few days ago. It's one of my portraits, obviously, of a boy on a hobby horse. So I'm continuing that project of building a portfolio of work of young men on hobby horses. But doing the background in this particular piece is helping me to figure out the background in the wedding portraits, in the bride and groom portraits. Now, what I said in the video that I deleted was the background is very heavy with paint. It's very heavy. There are thick, or for me anyway, there are thick layers of color and oil paint on top of aerosol. Some of it is just mixed with mineral spirits, so it stays flat. The reaction to the eye is a flat color. And some of it is mixed with Neo McGilp. So we get that glow that I really, really enjoy in the work. But it's not so heavy in Neo McGilp that it's giving off glare, which drives me crazy. So the background is fairly ornate, abstract, ornate wallpaper. But in here, we've gone from this heavy, thick, you can actually feel the texture of the paint, to flat. Oil paint mixed with mineral spirits. So the light goes in and it doesn't bounce back out again. You can see, some of this is just barely touched with oil paint and mineral spirits at all. So you can see down to the black and white stripes of gesso, and you can also see the aerosol underneath. His face is obviously heavy with oil. His hand has oil. The horse has oil. But what I'm trying to do is give the eye a break. Oh, and I remember in the last the video I deleted, I was talking about how all this heaviness is that guy at the party who's loud and chatty and wants to hold court. And after a while, you cannot hear him. That's the mental image or the idea I have in placing these ornate, thick brush strokes next to this pretty flat, drab, almost drab portions of the canvas. So we've got this guy who's like, I know everything about everything, kind of like me in my videos. But here's the trick. You don't actually hear the words. You don't hear my words necessarily till I stop. That is the break in the conversation. The lack of oil paint is the break in the speech that helps you to hear exactly what's being said and maybe appreciate those golden nuggets that the guy in the party has spewed, or me. Visually, it is that break in the conversation. And it's funny because although this should be the focus, we know traditionally this should be the focus. So it plays with the mind a little bit. The ornateness, the thickness of the paint, the lack of paint. So that the eye just keeps bouncing around. Where am I supposed to be? And it holds the viewer. And this painting, and the wedding painting and the secret painting also led me to take this little doodad back on. So once again, bounced from painting to painting to painting, issue to issue to issue, taking what I've learned in one painting, applying it to another, seeing if I can come back and fix an issue in the original painting, but bouncing to another. And it's just a continual learning process that I'm providing to myself as a painter, as an artist, by just letting shit go. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to focus on that. I'm going to continue moving forward. Same idea again, thick with paint, very dry. There's very dry areas. This is a technique that I developed on my own, and I'm really proud of myself. I'm super proud of me. Anyway, so all that bouncing led me to this guy. I had set it up months ago, and then I just picked it up one day and went boom, 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 boom. And I'll show you the painting that led me to the boom, boom, boom. This little doodad, which you've seen in other videos, and I thought we had sold a couple of times, but sadly she is still sitting here. However, again, taking lesson to lesson, painting to painting, I'm taking the lessons learned and applying the colors throughout the painting, the structure, and the inference of palm trees, and I'm applying it to something else. Let me go get it. I'm going to be applying it to Alice Neel. So once again, it's just the mind, the idea, and the momentum of a baby shark. Just painting to painting to painting, taking the lessons learned, the mistakes made, correcting them, but through other conversations, kind of honing the idea over and over and over again, by work and rework. So Alice Neel is going to have the palm trees in the background. She is also going to have a lot of the same colors that I used in her will be used down below as well. I learned a lot doing that painting. I learned not to make a bow gigantic, which she was in the beginning, and that's where I got stuck. But when I got stuck, I bounced to another painting and another painting and another painting. So that's the haps. I've been at this far too long, almost a half hour. Yemina, yemina, yemina. We didn't do our Maxwell moment in the beginning. Let's do it at the end, and hopefully he'll see this at some point. Ready? Max is my grandson. We're going to say hi to Maxwell. Mwah! Let him know that we're thinking of him. And Grammy will go shower. Ready? You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray, or bright like today. Did we do this earlier? Uh-oh. When skies are gray or bright like today, you'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Go make your Grammy so proud every day. Did we do this earlier? Oh. Okay, I'm going to post this and hopefully I won't delete it. Everybody have a great day. I'm Beck Lane. This is Studio 120. Ciao. I'm going to go shower. Yes. I'm going to go use some soap. Ready, Carrie, and ready, Punky? Mirror, mirror, mirror. Boink.